Before the Duchess dresses and the staged humanitarian tears, Meghan Markle is just another middling actress with a dream, a blog, and a Rolodex of rising desperation. But unlike the rest, she knew how to hustle a narrative, especially her own. This chapter, it's the blueprint for how to build an empire, out of filtered brunch pics, light activism, and strategic exits. Welcome to Meghan's real origin story. Number 6 on the call sheet. Royal wife, global icon, and victim-in-chief. Tom Markle told Fox News that his daughter was first captivated by the red carpet's elusive glamour at the age of 12, when he was nominated for an Emmy Award for his work on General Hospital, and he took her as his date to the awards ceremony. Meghan turned to me and said, "Daddy, I want to be famous just like you one day." On weekends at his house, they watched Busby Berkeley movies together, and her biggest dream was to be a dancer like Eleanor Powell in the tap dancing 30s. As early as age 11, she showed prodigious feminist resolve when she wrote a letter to Procter & Gamble protesting the sexist overtones of a TV ad. It depicted a sink full of dirty dishes with a voiceover intoning, "Women are fighting greasy pots and pans with ivory clear." Meghan's initiative landed the earnest, freckle-faced tween a spot on Nickelodeon's Nick News, deadpanning to host Linda Ellerbee that she didn't think it's right for kids to grow up thinking these things, that just mom does everything. P&G caved to this precocious telling off, and the next version of the ad announced that people are fighting greasy pots and pans with ivory clear. It was an early lesson for Meghan in how to weaponize media successfully. Ah yes, the infamous soap commercial saga. Heard it 100 times and then some, because Meghan won't stop telling it. 11 years old, already staging her first media coup over dish detergent. Cute. But let's not pretend it wasn't also her first brush with personal PR and that Emmy red carpet moment. Most kids say, "I want to be like you, Dad." Not Meghan. The ambition was never subtle, and it's only gotten louder since. Meghan was no breakout ingenue. 4 years after her General Hospital debut, she was still hoofing it as one of 26 briefcase girls, wearing a shimmery sateen mini dress and gold stilettos on the NBC game show Deal or No Deal. From 2002 to 2011, Meghan's show clips are a parody of a young actress trapped in the male gaze. A 2006 episode of the CBS crime procedural CSI and York features her wearing a sexy maid's outfit and delivering the line, "I may have slept with Grant Jordan, but I didn't kill him." In a 2008 episode of the Fox sitcom Till Death, she's a car salesperson in a tight blue bustier over a t-shirt, stroking a red open-topped Corvette. Her opening gambit, "You fellas interested in checking this baby out?" earns the reply, "We're here for donuts, so you can save your seductively minty breath." In the morose 2010 melodrama Remember Me, panned for its thunderously overwritten screenplay, she plays a bartender with one line and an attitude. This is the same girl who shamed P&G for gender bias at 11 and ended up in stilettos holding a silver briefcase for a game show. The feminist narrative with Meghan, like everything else, only shows up when it's serving her fame building. She could talk empowerment by day and jiggle on cue by night when the rent was due. Ray remembers. Everyone to a man in the room said, "Where did she come from?" It was like group hypnosis. Meghan projected such an uptown aura, you would never know that she had arrived at the audition in a rattling second-hand Ford Explorer that required her to climb in through the trunk as her dwindling bank account would not allow her to get the broken door locks fixed. The choice was a no-brainer. "She just intrigued us," one of the show's producers told me. In 2015, she described in a blog post everything that flowed from this pivotal career moment. "I had no idea that this late August morning would change my life, that I would get the part, that I would live in a little apartment in Manhattan to shoot the pilot, that over a lunch of lentil salad and muhammara on Beverly Drive, I would get a call saying we were picked up, that I would film the series in Canada, that I would grow up and still be silly, or that I would find friends in my castmates." There was one milestone omitted from Meghan's reverie. In between shooting the pilot in New York and the seismic news that the show had been greenlit for the next TV season, Trevor Engelson proposed to her on a romantic vacation in Belize. The first season debuted in June 2011 to strong reviews and pleasing attention. Shortly after it wrapped, Meghan married Trevor in a barefoot wedding in Ocho Rios, Jamaica. Ah yes, the Ford Explorer through the trunk origin story, Meghan's favorite kind of detail, gritty enough to sound humble, polished enough to still give main character energy. And that blog post is peak Markle. Lentil salad, muhamara, castmate bonding, emotional self-portrait in soft focus. But notice what's missing? Oh, just the engagement to the man who had been her cheerleader for so long. Funny how that didn't make the cut in her carefully curated origin tale. Jessica Mulroney, a buzzed-up Toronto tastemaker, as well as Ben Mulroney's wife, was Meghan's 30-something role model in style, and new BFF. Meghan has always been astute in flattering fashionable and famous women and absorbing their networks. There's a long list of strategic besties. Misha Nonu, the internationally connected British Bahraini fashion designer, Serena Williams, whom she love-bombed at a 2010 Super Bowl party in Miami, actress Priyanka Chopra, co-opted at a 2016 Elle Women in Television dinner, and soon to come, her ultimate ace in the hole, Oprah Winfrey. Childhood friends like Meenaki Pretty, her closest confidant throughout her school days, hit the bricks like Trevor Engelson. As a fashion stylist come marketer, Jessica marked everything in her world with a hashtag. Her own 3-day nuptials were covered on Canadian television news, her parenting became a partnership with Pampers, and her trips to the gym a promotional opportunity for Adidas. It could not have escaped Meghan's notice that a crucial factor in Jessica's commercial leverage was her famous husband. She absorbed Jessica's tactics like a sea sponge. But what sealed her upward trajectory in Toronto was her alliance with the Canadian-born global membership director of Soho House, Marcus Anderson. Without Marcus's networking skills and Soho House connections, it's unlikely Meghan would have penetrated gilded London circles. Trevor thought he had a wife. Turns out he was just a prelude. On one of his visits to her in Toronto, she told him she didn't love him anymore. And soon a parcel arrived for him in LA with her engagement ring and wedding band. And let's be honest, once the Meghan 2.0 brand launched, there was no room for beer pong or Skype marriages. Out went the husband, in came the hashtag ready bestie with a Pampers deal and a gym-sponsored marriage. Meghan wasn't making friends, she was making strategic moves. Jessica, Serena, Priyanka, Oprah, all perfectly placed on the Markle chessboard. Childhood BFFs? Forgotten. Trevor, returned to sender. And then came Marcus, her velvet rope Sherpa into the Soho House elite. If social climbing were an Olympic sport, well, you know the rest. You didn't hear about it, and she didn't put it up front, but she's playing three-dimensional chess with you, Kevin Bray told me. The show was mostly filmed in a bleak concrete hangar on a former military base on the outskirts of Toronto, where Meghan had to mooch around, waiting to be called on set. She spent the downtime furiously updating the TIG, which she was convinced, not without reason, could emulate the success of Goop. The TIG, Meghan hoped, could be the vehicle that would take her from being an actress forever on the hunt for parts to the lucrative status of a global brand. But Meghan's plan B was taking too long. Unable to break out beyond a few random articles in women's magazines and some perky panel spots at cable festivals, Meghan cast about for endorsement deals and appearances at women's empowerment fests. She reshaped her resume to shine up her feminist credentials. Her father's contribution to her Northwestern tuition was eliminated from her list of scholarships, financial aid programs, and work study by the time she addressed a gathering at the University of the South Pacific in 2018. Meghan always knew how to surf the zeitgeist. The TIG vehicle, the avid brand building, the use of the self-esteem bandwagon to write sensitive women's magazine essays. It is easy to understand her impatience with the shabby clawing after shiny bits and pieces. By 2014, she was famished for prestige, frantic for validation. As she filmed the 5th and 6th seasons of Suits, she was well aware of the clock running down. She was about to turn 35 and still had not gotten the call from Anna Wintour to join the red carpet at the Met Gala. Halfway through season 6, Patrick Adams started thinking about leaving the show after the next season. Besides, Meghan's vision for herself now was as a global celebrity brand synonymous with enlightened causes. Meghan's love life was equally trapped in a cul-de-sac. In 2016, Corey Vidiello, with whom she and her dogs had recently moved in, called it a day. Meghan's sights once again turned to London. It was the height of the 2016 summer season. One stop was a charity dinner, hosted by Phones For You billionaire John Caldwell at his Mayfair mansion. As was her wont, Meghan struck up bonding banter about boyfriends with the footballer's former wife, Lizzie Cundy. We were talking girly chat about my life, her life. She loved London life and wanted to stay and work there and have a boyfriend. Cundy suggested the still on the market Ashley Cole. But it was thanks to Violet von Westenholz, who had issued Meghan the Wimbledon invitation on behalf of Ralph Lauren, that the cards fell into place. She was a childhood friend of William and Harry, and her sister Victoria had been romantically linked with Harry. When Meghan once again floated the bait that she was looking for a boyfriend, Violet suggested an idea that was too good to be true. Gina Nelthorpe Cown had lunch with Meghan at London's Delaney restaurant on July 1st, 2016, and thought her client had never looked more beautiful. Meghan, unable to contain her excitement, shared the secret of whom she was going to meet that night for drinks at Soho House. There's no way he's going to be able to resist her, Cown thought. The TIG was basically a soft launch for Meghan Inc. Just enough matcha and mindfulness to make it marketable, and just enough faux depth to say, I'm not like other actresses, I care. The problem? Her acting gigs were flops, and Suits didn't come with HBO prestige. No Vogue covers, no Met Gala invites, just a steady stream of mall openings and health club galas. So she rebranded. Hard. Suddenly, she was a feminist icon in progress, pitching herself to every UN-affiliated acronym that might let her near a podium. Still, the A-list didn't bite, so she pivoted to London. This time, not just boyfriend hunting, but hunting for a crown. And honestly, she was ready. Years of social ladder climbing, strategic friendships, and status chess had prepared her for this final boss level. That line from Gina Nelthorpe Cown, "There's no way he's going to be able to resist her," hits different now. It doesn't read as a tribute to Meghan's magnetism. It reads like Cown knew exactly how gullible Harry really was. Well, none of this is surprising. The careful image management, the ghosted friends, the resume rewrites, the relentless networking, it's all part of a well-worn Markle pattern. She's always been this way. From the P&G soap letter to the Soho House charm offensives, Meghan didn't just drift into the spotlight. She chased it down with precision. What's actually fascinating, and even begrudgingly admirable, is how consistent, how disciplined she's been in this pursuit. Every connection, every outfit, every Instagram caption was another move in a long game. Not for craft, not for art, not even for fame in the traditional sense, but for status, power, proximity to legacy. And honestly, if she had poured this level of intensity into, say, acting or writing or even running the TIG like an actual business, she might have earned the validation she craves and maybe even the public affection she now seems to resent not having. But that was never the goal, was it? She was always selling a story. And in Harry, she found someone willing to buy it wholesale. Game, set, Markle. If you enjoyed this video, do consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. See you soon!